Before I begin, hear my voice clearly and do not ignore these words. Subscribe to this channel right now and stay with me until the very end of this message, because everything I am about to reveal is for your child's protection, their future, their destiny, and their spiritual safety, and if you skip even a second you will miss the warning heaven urgently needs you to hear. I am Archangel Michael, and tonight your name was spoken, your child's name was lifted into the highest realms, and the message I have been commanded to deliver is not ordinary, gentle, or soft. It is a message of urgency, protection, and truth, because something dark tried to touch your child's destiny, something that has been circling, waiting, watching, looking for the smallest opening, the tiniest emotional crack, the smallest moment of vulnerability, and before that shadow could reach them, God Himself intervened and sent me forward with a sword of fire to stop what was forming. Do not underestimate what I am telling you, for the spiritual realm does not move this forcefully unless the threat is real. Tonight, the darkness reached for your child, not because they are weak but because they are chosen, appointed, marked by heaven for a future that carries influence, leadership, healing, creativity, compassion, and a power that will shake the atmosphere around them when they grow into who they were created to be. The enemy always attacks early when the destiny is great, and your child's destiny burned too brightly for darkness to ignore. Heaven saw the attempt, the shift, the movement, the shadow stretching itself toward your child's spirit, and before it made contact, the heavens erupted with a force that pushed me into motion, and your child was placed under immediate divine protection. But you must hear every detail, for protection is strongest when parents are spiritually awake. Something dark tried to attach itself to your child's future, whispering discouragement, planting fear, stirring confusion, trying to weaken the confidence that your child will soon need for the season ahead. It attempted to enter through emotions, through sudden sadness, unexplained heaviness, nightmares, anxiety, irritability, restlessness, or unexpected silence, because children feel the unseen long before adults recognize the signs. Your child has felt moments they didn't know how to explain, sensations that seemed random but were not random at all. A spiritual interference tried to influence their light, tried to overshadow their joy, tried to cloud their path, but heaven stopped it. When the darkness made its move, God spoke your child's name with authority, and I was summoned. I descended with urgency because the enemy was targeting the very area where your child is about to rise. Your child is nearing a breakthrough, a shift in identity, confidence, talent, purpose, and emotional strength. This kind of elevation always attracts spiritual interruption, and that is why the attack came early. But listen closely, the danger was blocked, but the enemy will attempt new forms. Not physical harm, spiritual discouragement. Not visible danger, quiet emotional pressure. Not accidents, strategic influence through people, environments, and words. That is why heaven is awakening you now, so you become fully aware of the signs. You will notice people suddenly showing unusual interest in your child, either too friendly, too curious, too controlling, too invested, or too emotionally attached. You must not dismiss this. The darkness often hides behind familiar faces, and jealousy often wears politeness as a mask. Watch how someone reacts to your child's success, how they respond to your child's excitement, how their energy shifts when your child enters the room. The truth will reveal itself in the small moments. Your child also carries spiritual sensitivity, They feel things deeply, sense intentions intuitively, and absorb environments like a mirror. Pay close attention when your child pulls away from someone or avoids certain places. Children are spiritually honest even when they cannot articulate their discomfort. What they feel is real. Heaven is urging you to trust their instincts. And now I must tell you something you are not prepared for. The attack on your child did not come from outside, it came from a moment of vulnerability, a space where your child doubted themselves, and the shadow tried to slip through that emotional opening. But before doubt could take root, God shattered the plan. Tonight, your child's name thundered across heaven, echoing through realms as angels took their positions. The spiritual decree was spoken: this child is protected. This destiny is sealed. No shadow will rewrite what I have written. And I stand beside you now, delivering every detail, because you must be vigilant, aware, and spiritually awake. Much is coming for your child: blessing, breakthrough, gifting, growth. But blessing attracts pressure, destiny attracts interference, and calling attracts resistance. That is why you must listen carefully to every word I speak next. Do not stop, do not scroll, do not doubt what your spirit is feeling, because heaven has chosen you to guard what darkness fears: your child's future. And now, listen with the same seriousness heaven used when your child's name was spoken, because the next part of this message reveals what the darkness planned and what God destroyed before it ever reached your child. The enemy attempted to plant a seed of identity confusion in your child, a seed that would have made them question their worth, their intelligence, their confidence, their future, and even the love they receive from you. It planned to grow slowly, subtly, through misunderstandings, emotional pressure, criticism, rejection, jealousy from others, or moments where your child felt unseen or undervalued. But before the seed could settle, the heavens intervened. Your child's guardian angel saw the shadow approaching and cried out for reinforcement, and that cry reached the throne with urgency. That is the moment I was dispatched. I descended with the authority to sever the spiritual ties that were trying to attach to your child's emotions, the ties that would have made them grow up questioning themselves or shrinking to make others comfortable. But hear this clearly: although the attack was blocked, you must remain aware, because the enemy will attempt a different door, through people who speak carelessly, through environments that overwhelm your child, through comparisons that damage their confidence, through distractions that steal their focus, or through emotions that don't belong to them but feel strangely heavy. Pay close attention to sudden changes. If your child becomes unusually quiet, clingy, irritable, anxious, withdrawn, or fearful without a clear reason, do not dismiss it as just a phase. Children are spiritual sensors, and they feel interference before adults see evidence. When your child says, "I don't like that person," or "I don't want to go there," listen deeply. Their spirit is warning you. And now I reveal something heaven has kept hidden until this moment. There is a person around your child, someone who appears harmless, whose heart carries envy, insecurity, or an unhealed darkness that reacts negatively to your child's light. This person may be someone who compliments your child but tenses when your child succeeds, someone who encourages them but becomes irritated when your child shines, someone who smiles at them but internally competes with them, someone who acts supportive but subtly manipulates their confidence. This person may be young or old, family or friend, familiar or distant, but their spirit is misaligned with your child's destiny, and the darkness attempted to use this individual as a doorway. Heaven is exposing this connection. Pay attention to how your child behaves around this person. Do they dim their personality, become shy, feel anxious, act differently, or cling closer to you? That is not coincidence, that is spiritual intuition. Your child's spirit knows more than their language can express. And now hear me, the enemy sees potential long before people do, and your child's potential is radiant, loud, and undeniable in the spiritual realm. Their gifts, whether intelligence, empathy, creativity, leadership, intuition, sensitivity, or courage, are already visible to forces that fear what your child will become. That is why the attack targeted identity, not safety, destiny, not physical harm, the future, not the present. But remember this, God sent me to interrupt the plan. The enemy reached, and heaven struck. The shadow attempted, and heaven intervened. The darkness moved, and heaven responded. But you must participate in the continuation of this protection by becoming spiritually alert. There will be dreams your child has, pay attention to them. There will be moments they wake up scared, comfort them gently, for spiritual visions often appear as nightmares in young minds. There will be times your child feels off around someone, do not force them into that person's presence. There will be sudden emotional shifts, observe the patterns. Heaven is not asking you to fear, heaven is asking you to see. And now I reveal a truth that will shake you. Your child's destiny involves influencing many people. Their existence will shift atmospheres, uplift hearts, help others, or lead others. Their kindness is a weapon of light. Their spirit is ancient and powerful. Their sensitivity is proof of their calling, not weakness. And that is why darkness wants them early, before they grow strong, before they become aware, before they recognize the gifts inside them. But tonight sealed their protection. When God spoke their name, the decree shattered every spiritual chain that was trying to form around them. No curse, no jealousy, no manipulation, no fear, no discouragement, no shadow will define their path. But there is more you must know. In the spiritual realm, when an attack fails, the enemy tries again through influence. This influence often comes through people who speak negativity, comparison, or seeds of doubt into your child's heart, but these seeds will wither now that heaven has illuminated your awareness. Know this, the protection around your child increased tonight. I was commanded to place a shield around their mind, their emotions, their sleep, their friendships, their decisions, and their growth. This shield will remain, but you must reinforce it with your words. Speak life into your child daily. Remind them they are strong, loved, chosen, protected, and capable. Your words will heal what the enemy hoped to harm. And now I tell you with heavenly certainty, your child's future is safe, their destiny is guarded, their path is cleared, and their spirit is rising. But the message does not end here, you must hear what comes next, for heaven is not finished speaking to you. And now you must listen with an even deeper awareness, because the next revelation is heavier than what I have spoken before, and yet it carries hope, clarity, and protection. Your child's destiny was not only targeted, it was studied. In the spiritual realm, darkness does not attack randomly, it observes patterns, emotions, weaknesses, and the people surrounding your child, looking for the easiest route to interfere, and the enemy believed it found an opening through emotional vulnerability and external influence. But what the enemy underestimated was the strength of your child's anointing, the prayers spoken over them, the love you carry for them, and the divine shield assigned to their life long before they were born. Tonight, when the darkness approached, heaven responded with such force that the spiritual atmosphere trembled, and the decree over your child's life became louder, brighter, stronger, and more undeniable than ever. I saw the shadow hesitate, retreat, collapse under the authority of God's command. The enemy fled, not because it wanted to, but because it had no choice under the power that surrounded your child. But while the attack failed, heaven needs you awakened because the next phase is subtle. This is where the enemy tries to slip in through distractions, comparisons, and emotional wounds that form from hurtful words, careless actions, or relationships that drain your child's spirit. You will notice moments where your child suddenly feels insecure about something they were once confident in, moments where they hesitate before speaking, moments where their bright energy dims after encountering certain people, moments where they act older than their age because they are carrying emotional weight that doesn't belong to them. These are spiritual signs, not coincidences. Children carrying divine purpose often feel pressure before glory, weight before breakthrough, and confusion before clarity, but heaven is guiding you now so you can intercept every emotional attack before it roots itself. You must pay attention to who your child speaks differently around, who they avoid eye contact with, who they become silent around, or who they feel uncomfortable hugging or greeting. Children rarely fake discomfort. If their spirit withdraws, it is because something inside them senses a misalignment. Pay attention to how your child behaves after school, after spending time with certain individuals, or after hearing certain comments. If they return home drained, quiet, overwhelmed, or frustrated, there is a spiritual reason behind it. And now I reveal a secret: your child's light exposes the shadows in others, and there will be people, children or adults, who react negatively to that light not because your child has done anything wrong, but because your child activates insecurities and unhealed wounds in others. The enemy tries to use these people as vessels to deliver discouragement, jealousy, competition, or emotional intimidation to your child, because children with bright futures often shine so strongly that others subconsciously try to dim them. But heaven has positioned you to break this pattern. Speak confidence into your child every day. Protect their heart from comparison. Shield them from environments that weaken them. Do not let anyone claim authority over their identity except God. Now hear me, your child is approaching a season of awakening. They will begin discovering who they are, what they love, what they fear, and what they are capable of. Their gifts will sharpen, their sensitivity will intensify, their intuition will strengthen, and their soul will begin pulling them toward the direction of their purpose. In this vulnerable season, the enemy tries to distract them through emotional noise, confusion, insecurity, or relationships that damage their self-esteem. But heaven is giving you heightened discernment to stop every tactic before it begins. Trust the instincts that wake you up at night. Trust the small warnings you feel. Trust the uneasy feelings heaven places in your spirit. You are not being paranoid, you are being prepared. A parent's intuition is one of heaven's strongest weapons against spiritual attack, and when God gives you a feeling, it is a message, not an accident. And now I must reveal a deeper truth: your child's destiny is connected to hundreds, possibly thousands, of people in the future. They will influence, help, heal, inspire, or guide others in ways you cannot yet imagine. Their empathy is not weakness, it is a divine antenna. Their sensitivity is not fragility, it is spiritual perception. Their imagination is not childishness, it is prophetic vision in early form. Their curiosity is not distraction, it is preparation for what they are meant to understand. You must protect these qualities, not punish them. Nourish them, don't silence them. Protect them, don't suppress them. Encourage them, don't overlook them. Your child is carrying early signs of a calling that is greater than their age, and the darkness knows this. That is why the enemy attempted to plant doubt in your child's mind before they could grow into confidence. But heaven has rewritten the atmosphere around them tonight. A new shield has formed, taller, stronger, brighter, and your child's spirit will begin feeling lighter in the coming days. You will notice them smiling more, sleeping more peacefully, expressing themselves more freely, or showing sudden bursts of clarity, creativity, or emotional healing. This is not coincidence, it is spiritual recovery. But before the full restoration unfolds, you must prepare for the enemy's final tactic, distraction through someone who appears harmless. This person will try to pull your child's attention, influence their emotions, or subtly undermine their confidence, but heaven has given you the eyes to see through this disguise. Pay attention. Step in quietly. Protect boldly. Now listen closely, your child's destiny was never fragile, it was only under attack because it is powerful. The darkness fears who your child will become, but heaven delights in the future ahead. And as long as you stay alert, your child will rise untouched, unshaken, and undefeatable. But the message is not finished, you must hear the final revelations of what heaven is preparing for your child next. And now you must prepare yourself for what I am about to reveal, because heaven showed me the next chapter of your child's destiny, and the weight of it is so powerful that even the shadows tremble at the thought of what your child will become. The attack that came was not an accident, not random, not a meaningless disturbance. It was a reaction to the rising power within your child, a desperate attempt to interfere with a future the enemy can see forming long before you do. Your child is entering a season where their gifts begin to take shape, where their mind sharpens, where their emotional intelligence expands, where their spirit becomes more aware, where their sensitivity deepens into strength, where their intuition becomes a guiding force, where their heart begins recognizing truth and falsehood without verbal explanation. This growth threatens darkness because children who awaken early cannot be easily misled later in life, and your child is on the edge of awakening. That is why the enemy tried to strike before the awakening fully began. But now the enemy's plans are shattered, and the path ahead is bright, yet you must stay alert, because the next attempt will not be dramatic, it will be subtle, psychological, emotional, and hidden behind the behaviors of those who walk near your child. There is someone whose energy shifts around your child, someone who cannot handle your child's radiance, someone who masks their discomfort with exaggerated kindness or unnecessary attention, someone who appears caring but harbors unspoken envy, someone whose spirit reacts negatively to your child's blessing. Watch carefully for this person, because heaven is revealing them slowly so you can separate their influence without raising conflict. You will notice your child acting differently after interacting with them, either drained, frustrated, unusually quiet, or emotionally unsettled, these reactions are spiritual alarms. Children do not yet know how to explain spiritual impressions, so they show them through behavior. Trust what their behavior tells you. If your child becomes anxious before going somewhere, pay attention. If they cling to you for no clear reason, pay attention. If they suddenly don't want to talk about someone, pay attention. If they begin to fear something they once enjoyed, pay attention. These patterns expose the spiritual source that tried to reach them. But there is more. Heaven is preparing your child for a breakthrough that will require emotional clarity and inner courage. Your child will soon step into moments of opportunity, moments where their creativity sparks, their intelligence stands out, their compassion draws others, their leadership awakens, or their intuition becomes noticeable even to you. During these moments, you will see glimpses of the greatness inside them, and it will surprise you how naturally it flows from their spirit. Heaven wants you to nurture these moments, encourage them, magnify them, because these are early signs of the calling your child carries. But be aware, the enemy will try to distract your child during these breakthroughs, through emotional noise, unnecessary conflicts, self-doubt, comparison, or sudden guilt that doesn't belong to them. This is not random, it is spiritual interference attempting to confuse your child during their awakening. But heaven has already begun clearing your child's path, lifting confusion from their mind, removing unnecessary attachments, exposing harmful influences, and guiding them into a season where clarity replaces confusion, confidence replaces fear, peace replaces heaviness, and inner strength replaces insecurity. You will notice your child sleeping more peacefully, speaking more boldly, expressing their feelings more clearly, or healing from emotional wounds faster than before. This is not coincidence, it is spiritual recalibration. And now I reveal something deeper. Your child is surrounded by angels, and tonight more were assigned to them. I saw them take formation, one at their head, one at their feet, one at their left, one at their right, and one behind them, surrounding them like a shield of living light, making it impossible for the darkness to touch them without being destroyed instantly. But angels cannot guard against human influence unless you remove access, and that is why heaven is awakening your discernment. You are the earthly guardian, we are the spiritual guardians. Together we safeguard your child's destiny. Trust the spiritual nudges you feel, they are messages. That discomfort you feel about a certain environment is not your imagination. That hesitation you feel about a certain person is not overthinking. That sudden instinct to check on your child is not paranoia. You are being guided moment by moment. And now hear this, your child is entering a chapter where their spirit strengthens daily, where their destiny becomes clearer, where their gifts begin to show even when they are not trying. Do not dismiss their imagination, it is prophetic insight. Do not silence their sensitivity, it is spiritual intelligence. Do not ignore their fears, they are warnings. Do not overlook their dreams, they are messages. Heaven is speaking through your child in ways they do not yet understand. And I must reveal this final truth for now, the enemy fears your child because of who they will become, not who they are today. Your child will walk in purpose, carry healing, break patterns, uplift generations, and influence many. They carry a future darkness cannot afford to allow, but heaven has already decided, your child will rise. No darkness will touch their destiny. No enemy will shape their future. No shadow will define their identity. But the message does not end here. What comes next is the prophecy of your child's elevation, and you must hear it fully.